Hello, this is Hunter Allen, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about how to use your modeled FTP and what does that mean in TrainingPeaks WKO4. I'm super psyched to show you how to track your model FTP and kind of understand a little bit about that. Right now we've got an athlete over here. This is an athlete that I work with. He's the former Brazilian pro national champion, very talented athlete. And you can see that he's got his metrics right here, and then we'll look at his hero metrics right up here. And right away we see his modeled FTP. So we have his modeled FTP. The software WKO4 is modeling that, saying, okay, hey, everything we see here is associated with what we think and believe is 383 watts for modeled FTP, which, that makes great sense because I had his set FTP at 380. So that's really mimicking what it looks like from that perspective. So one of the things that you're going to want to look at in terms of these different how to review this is inside here there is a chart pack, and I'm just going to type in pack because I like that. That helps me. I sort a lot of my packs that way. The PD curve pack is the one that you want and to look at. So get the PD curve pack, and once you've got it, this will be what you're looking at. You're looking at the PD curve here, power duration curve here, and then you have some of the charts down below. So one thing that we'll look at here is we'll look at these metrics here and kind of understand a little bit about what's going on from his perspective of the last, let's say 2015 really. And we've got his FRC, his Pmax, and then also down here his set FTP, which is in pink, and then his orange FTP, which is the modeled FTP. Now notice that's way out in the future. Right now it's July 2015. So this is back here where it's really, what's the truth is really happening right here. So this is what we're going to see. We're expecting to see a little bit is FTP to come up just a wee bit here. And this is one way to look at this. Look at this PD curve metrics chart. Another one that I like to look at is this one right here. This is the FTP review chart, and I'm going to just make this one big by clicking Alt and Command and then the down arrow, and then make that full screen so now we can see what that is. So here, this is in the blue bar. That is 95% of 20 minutes. Okay, so that's essentially his 20-minute best, and then subtract 5% from that, all across every single ride, all across this whole year 2015. The white dots are the 60-minute normalized power. Okay, so there's a 60-minute normalized power across all of these dots. 20-minute normalized power. There's his set FTP. There's what I've set in the software. There's his modeled FTP right there in the model. So that way you kind of get a little feel for exactly what's going on. You can see that it's certainly trending upward. There's no doubt about that. It's absolutely trending upward from looking at the 20-minute power. And also the 60-minute normalized power. Yeah, it's not quite so dramatic in that 60-minute, but the 20-minute for sure is. He doesn't do a ton of 60-minute efforts like most athletes, but 20 minutes he gets plenty in. So that makes sense because he really was peaking for the end of June for the national championships again. So I really like that one to kind of give me a confirmation. Hey, is this moving in the right direction? Does this make sense with what the modeled FTP is showing me? Yeah, it absolutely does, moving in the right direction. So now I'm going to hit Alt and Command and the Enter or the Return to bring me back to the dashboard so that I understand what's going on here. The other one that I like to look at is this is a pretty cool one here. And again, I'm going to hit Alt Command and the lower button here. This is a really cool way to look at this. What is this? What's going on here? We've got the modeled FTP versus CTL. Okay, so notice on the y-axis over here, this is CTL, and the x-axis we have wattage. So, what does these blue points mean? This means that, hey, these are his CTL, okay, and wattages. So notice if you look at these blue points, as his CTL goes up, what happens to his FTP? it also goes up, right? Some of his highest, right, modeled FTPs all happen right here where his CTL is the highest. Now here's this top 10, okay, so there's the top 10. These white dots right here are his top 10s. Here we got some ones way up in the corner up here, and check it out. He's got some of the highest CTL on those days, 387 watts and 168 CTL. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal, right? That correlation right there. Now, if you go the opposite way, let's look at this. Let's look at his model FTP versus his training stress balance. Okay, so here we have his TSS per day, all right, and that's what we're looking at there. And then we're also looking at his training stress balance here. So super important to kind of keep that in mind. What is the training stress balance? Well, it's going to be negative down here, right? That's where that is. Going to be negative 35. Okay, so what we're looking at here is that TSB. Here is his TSBs, you know, in this range right here when he's in that higher FTP range. Okay, so you see that he's got more FTP at a positive training stress balance right here. When he had some of his very bests, what was his TSB? His TSB is in that range there. It actually was a negative 20. All right, so that kind of shows you that, hey, even though he was a little fatigued, he had one of his best rides on that day. So a great correlation here between modeled FTP and chronic training load, training stress balance, and also modeled FTP. So those are some great ways to look at it. I don't want to go too much deeper because this is just kind of a primer on how to see what model FTP means and how this works for you. And so I hope that helps. Thanks a lot. Again, this is Hunter Allen, Training Peaks WKO4 Plus, how to use modeled FTP.